The pressure to look young has always been a thing for women, but now men are getting into it too, and the results are pretty crazy. Why? Because in Hollywood, if you want to stay famous, you need to look young. The competition is tough, and with social media everywhere, people judge you even more harshly. According to Dr. Jennifer Levine, who's a famous plastic surgeon, way more men are getting these procedures done now. She says men usually want results that look more natural than what women typically get with facelifts. But let's be honest, natural isn't always what happens. Hollywood celebrities aren't really known for keeping things subtle. Some of them have gone way beyond just getting a little Botox or a small fix. Actually, some of these stars look completely different after trying so hard to stay hot and attractive. And trust me, you won't believe who's at number one. Keep watching because the transformation at the top is absolutely insane. Before we keep going, make sure to subscribe to Union Stories so you don't miss any Hollywood news. Number 1. Jordan James. Park, let's start with a guy who's become super famous in the UK for being obsessed with plastic surgery. Meet Jordan James Park, who calls himself the Lip King and has taken his love for cosmetic procedures to a crazy level. Jordan's transformation is absolutely wild. And it all started because he was obsessed with Kim Kardashian. This 27-year-old from Birmingham, England, has spent over $130,000 on surgery in the last 6 years trying to look like his idol. But it's not just about looking like Kim. Nope. Jordan went all in. We're talking 4 nose jobs, upper eyelid surgery, a lip lift, chin implants, and multiple rounds of liposuction. This guy has basically become a walking example of how far some people will go to get the perfect look. But here's where it gets really crazy. Jordan has admitted that after all those procedures, he's now having trouble breathing properly. Yes, you heard that right. 4 nose jobs later, and he can't even breathe as well as he used to. That's a pretty serious side effect. On top of that, he's had to deal with what he calls lumpy lipo, a messed up liposuction procedure that left his stomach looking worse than before. His obsession with looking perfect has now caused real problems. Jordan even appeared on the U.S. reality TV show called Botched, where he begged the surgeons to fix his breathing problems and deal with his liposuction issues. But to his shock, the doctors said no. They told him that any more surgery would actually make things worse. And for his nose, he'd need to have a piece of his rib removed. A rib just to fix his nose. Now, most people would look at Jordan's transformation and think, is this really worth it? But not Jordan. He's proud of how he looks. And even when doctors warn him, he still loves his lips. In fact, he said, I would be so boring without my lips. He's happy with the nickname Lip King, and it's clear he's not stopping his extreme quest for beauty. But here's the thing, Jordan's story is a warning. His surgeries haven't just left him looking totally different, they've put his health in danger. And even though he's gotten a lot of attention and fame from his appearance, it hasn't been easy. So what does this all mean? Sometimes trying to be beautiful can cost you way more than anyone expects. Number 2. John Travolta. From heartthrob to something a little harder to recognize, John Travolta's transformation has been talked about a lot over the years. Known for his famous roles in Grease and Saturday Night Fever, Travolta was once the definition of youthful charm. But as the years went by, something seemed to change. Not just his hairline, but his whole look. Let's talk about the most obvious change first. His hair. Gone is the thick, dark hair we all remember Travolta having. In its place is a fuller, more noticeable beard, which some people say is his way of making up for the obvious thinning on top. But that's not the only change that's had fans raising their eyebrows. His face, which used to be defined by strong jaw lines and expressive features, now looks much tighter. It's almost like his face has been lifted in a way that goes beyond just aging naturally. While it's not weird for actors to change their look for a role, especially in Hollywood where transformation is part of the job, Travolta's change has raised more questions than answers. Fans started noticing the change when he played Robert Shapiro in The People versus O.J. Simpson American Crime Story. Sure, he had fake makeup and prosthetics to help with the transformation, but the facial tightness was hard to ignore. Plastic surgeons have given their opinions, guessing that Travolta has had more than just makeup to thank for his appearance. Dr. Andrew Orton, a well-known plastic surgeon, commented that it's pretty clear Travolta's face is filled with Botox perfectly. No wrinkles anywhere. And that's not all. There's also some filler work, Dr. Orton pointed out, noting the small volume changes in Travolta's jawline and cheekbones, giving him that tighter look. But here's the interesting part. Travolta hasn't admitted to any of it. Like many stars, he's stayed quiet on the topic, leaving fans to guess about what's really going on behind the scenes. Some say it's just the natural process of aging in Hollywood, while others are convinced that Travolta is doing what many celebs have done, using surgery and cosmetic fixes to maintain that youthful, never-aging look. Number 3. Zac Efron, if you grew up in the 2000s. You probably remember Zac Efron as the heartthrob from High School Musical. With his bright blue eyes, charming smile, and that irresistible Disney Channel charm, he was the teen sensation everyone had a crush on, and the public couldn't get enough of him. But over the years, Zac's transformation has left many fans confused, especially after a very public and kind of shocking change to his jawline. Here's where it gets interesting. Efron's new appearance wasn't totally planned. Back in 2013, Zac got seriously injured after slipping at home, which resulted in a torn jawline. And that's where the rumors about Zac's transformation start to get real. While he admitted that he needed surgery to repair the damage, the amount of change was something many fans weren't ready for. After the surgery, Zac went through facial physical therapy to get full function of his face back. But during filming for a role, something unexpected happened. Zac's masseter muscles, which are responsible for chewing, started to grow unusually large. This change made his jawline become more defined and, well, drastically different. Fans and even his own mother noticed the change and began wondering if this was the same Zac Efron they once knew. Zac himself talked about the transformation in a 2021 interview, explaining that it was a combination of physical therapy and needing to gain weight for a movie role that caused the change. The muscles just grew, he said. They just got really, really big. It was his preparation for a role in Iron Claw, where he played a professional wrestler that made him pack on 15 pounds of muscle. And while the extra muscle helped him look more ripped, it also made him look, well, not quite like the Zac Efron we used to know. In an honest interview with Men's Health, Zac admitted that the changes were surprising at first. "In the best way possible, I did not look anything like me," he said. It's clear that the physical changes didn't just affect how Zac looked. He felt different too. But the real question here is it just a freak accident? Or did Zac's need for a new look push him into the world of facial changes? Despite the confusion about his appearance, Zac Efron seems to be at peace with his new look. In fact, he's accepted the fact that people's opinions on his transformation are out of his control. Zac's acceptance of his new look, regardless of what people think, shows a level of confidence in his own transformation that many can't help but admire. Number 4. Mickey Rourke. Mickey Rourke was once the perfect example of the classic Hollywood heartthrob. With his rugged good looks and bad boy appeal, he was a rising star in the 80s, known for films like 9½ Weeks and The Pope of Greenwich Village. But his story took a sharp turn when he decided to chase his first love, boxing. And that's where things started to get complicated. Rourke's boxing career was filled with a series of injuries, and after taking some serious hits to the face, he decided to step back from the ring and return to acting. However, his face, damaged by those brutal years in the ring, needed more than just time to heal. It needed some serious repairs. Enter plastic surgery. Mickey Rourke admits to getting several surgeries to fix the damage caused by boxing. But here's where it gets tricky. While the surgeries were supposed to restore his looks, Rourke's decision to go under the knife didn't exactly bring him back to his former self. In fact, it did the opposite. Over the years, he's had multiple procedures to repair a broken nose, fix a damaged cheekbone, and correct other injuries. However, it seems that the result was far from the restoration he'd hoped for. In interviews, Rourke has openly admitted that he went to the wrong guy for the job. While he was trying to fix his facial injuries, the surgeries didn't exactly leave him looking like the handsome leading man he once was. Instead, his face took on a drastically different appearance. His once chiseled features were replaced with a face that many fans found unsettling, almost unrecognizable. The plastic surgery, it seems, didn't just fail to restore his youthful looks. It also messed up the natural proportions of his face. Aesthetic doctor Hala El-Ghazi noted that Rourke's overdone surgeries resulted in facial proportions that were quite jarring to the human eye. Many critics and fans agreed. His face was no longer the one they remembered. The procedures that were supposed to fix his boxing injuries instead left him with an exaggerated, almost fake look. Despite the negative reactions, Rourke's appearance has remained a topic of conversation, especially when he made a return to Hollywood in films like The Wrestler. While critics praised his acting, they couldn't help but notice how his face had changed, leaving many to wonder, was it worth it? Rourke himself has admitted to some regret about the surgeries, but he's never fully backed away from them. He's made it clear that most of the procedures were meant to fix the damage caused by his boxing career, not for cosmetic reasons. Still, he can't deny the impact it had on his appearance. In the end, Mickey Rourke's story serves as a clear reminder of how trying to be beautiful, or the desire to fix one's image, can come with unexpected consequences. Number 5. Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt has always been considered one of Hollywood's most handsome leading men. With his boyish good looks in Fight Club and that undeniable charm in Ocean's 11, it's no wonder he became a global icon. But as we all know, the pressure to stay youthful in Hollywood can be brutal. And even someone as universally admired as Brad Pitt isn't safe from the effects of aging. While Brad's transformation hasn't been as extreme or talked about as some of the other stars we've mentioned, many fans have started to notice small changes in his appearance over the years. Some believe his face has had a bit of work done, especially in the nose area and his jawline. While it's hard to say exactly what he's had done, there's no denying that the small tweaks have contributed to a slightly different version of the Brad we once knew. Rumors about Brad's possible plastic surgery have been going around for years, with some fans questioning the changes in his facial structure. His once prominent angular jawline seems to have softened a bit, and his nose looks like it might have had some work done. There's also the possibility of facial fillers, something that many Hollywood stars have turned to in an attempt to keep that youthful glow. But here's the thing, Brad has never openly admitted to any of these procedures. Like many of his fellow celebrities, he's kept quiet when it comes to his personal appearance. However, as one of the most photographed men in the world, it's hard for fans not to notice the small differences that come with time and possibly a little help from plastic surgery. Some believe that the changes in his face are just the natural effects of aging. He's no longer the fresh-faced young man we first saw on screen. After all, Brad is in his 50s now, and aging gracefully doesn't always mean avoiding change. But others argue that the changes are a little too polished to be just natural. The reality is that in an industry obsessed with youth and beauty, even the most legendary stars can't escape the pressure to maintain their appearance. However, despite all the whispers and guesses, Brad Pitt seems to be embracing his age in his own way. Unlike some of his peers, he hasn't gone overboard with procedures. Instead, he's chosen small adjustments that help him maintain a refined, sophisticated look without taking things too far. Number 6. Mickey Rooney Mickey. Rooney was once the perfect example of youthful charm in Hollywood. His infectious energy lighting up the screen in classics like The Black Stallion and Babes in Arms. As one of the most celebrated stars of the golden age of Hollywood, Rooney's career lasted for decades, making him a household name. But as the years passed, his journey into aging and the changes to his appearance were anything but graceful. As Mickey Rooney got older, something changed. His youthful looks, which had made him one of the most beloved actors of his time, began to fade, and that's where things took a turn. Rooney became known for a different kind of transformation, one that was far from the classic good looks that defined his earlier years. In the later stages of his career, Rooney had a series of excessive plastic surgeries that left him looking completely different. While many stars in Hollywood choose small touch-ups to maintain their youthful appearance, Rooney's surgeries were far from small. The multiple procedures he had not only changed his facial features, but also contributed to a look that many fans and critics found disturbing. Some of the surgeries were meant to fight the natural signs of aging, sagging skin, wrinkles, and the effects of time that catch up to even the biggest stars. However, instead of bringing back the youthful energy he once had, the plastic surgeries left him looking unnatural. And in many ways, his appearance became a shadow of what it once was. Mickey Rooney's once boyish face was replaced by a look that was almost unrecognizable. By the time Rooney reached his later years, his face had become a heavily discussed topic. His plastic surgeries, while meant to turn back time, ultimately seemed to have the opposite effect. What should have been small improvements became a clear sign of how Hollywood's obsession with youth and beauty could go too far. Many fans mourned the loss of the iconic face that had once graced screens, and they were left questioning whether the surgeries were worth it. In the end, Mickey Rooney's transformation became a warning story, a reminder that sometimes the pursuit of perfection can lead to a loss of identity. Number 7, Simon Cowell. When you think of Simon Cowell, the first thing that comes to mind is probably the sharp-tongued, no-nonsense judge from American Idol and The X Factor. Known for his brutally honest critiques and unmistakable presence on stage, Simon has built a career around being the face of harsh truths in the entertainment world. But behind the scenes, his appearance has become just as much a subject of public attention as his opinions on contestants. Over the years, Simon Cowell has gone through one of the most noticeable transformations in the entertainment industry. But it's not just age that's been at play here. No, Simon's change has been driven by something much more controversial: plastic surgery. When Simon first started on American Idol in the early 2000s, he was known for his slightly rugged, mature look, a stark contrast to some of the younger stars in the industry. But as time passed, his face seemed to go through a drastic change, and the once chiseled features started to soften and smooth out. Enter Botox and facial fillers. Simon's use of Botox became obvious as his famously expressive face started to lose its natural lines and wrinkles. His once harsh features became smoother, with his face looking almost frozen at times, an effect commonly linked with overuse of Botox. But that's not all. Over the years, Simon has also had several facelifts, and rumors have spread that he's had cheek and jawline work done as well. His transformation has been so noticeable that it sparked a wave of public comments about just how far he's gone to maintain his appearance. While Simon has always been relatively open about his use of Botox, he's kept quiet about the more extensive procedures. In 2018, he admitted to having some cosmetic work done, but his comments were somewhat mysterious, saying, "I've had a bit of help along the way." Many believe that the help Simon mentioned goes beyond just the occasional Botox injection. The public's reaction to Simon's drastic changes has been mixed. Some fans argue that the surgeries have made him look unnatural, with many feeling that his once distinct features have been replaced by a more generic, ageless look. His face, while smooth and wrinkle-free, no longer has the same character it once did. Others, however, believe that Simon's transformation is simply a result of his desire to maintain a youthful appearance in an industry that's obsessed with youth and beauty. Number 8. Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling. Just the name alone brings up images of the effortlessly cool, swoon-worthy heartthrob from The Notebook and La La Land. He's the guy who had everyone saying, "Hey girl," long before the meme even existed. With his chiseled jawline, piercing eyes, and undeniable charisma, Ryan was the perfect Hollywood dreamboat. But over the years, his appearance has changed in ways that have left many fans wondering, what happened to the Gosling we all knew? The truth is, Ryan Gosling's transformation didn't come from the kind of Hollywood pressures most actors face. It wasn't a desperate attempt to stay young or a desire to keep up with the ever-demanding beauty standards of the industry. Instead, Ryan's changes came from something far less glamorous: an injury. In 2017, Ryan got seriously injured at home when he slipped and fell, tearing the tendons in his jaw. The injury was serious enough to require surgery, and that's where things started to get interesting. The surgery was meant to fix his damaged jaw, but the recovery process ended up affecting his face in a way no one expected. After the procedure, Ryan's jawline was noticeably different, leading many to wonder whether he had more work done to correct the injury. But Ryan wasn't done there. In his next role, playing professional wrestler Kevin Von Erich in Iron Claw, he gained 15 pounds of muscle, which significantly changed his appearance. While gaining muscle is often seen as a positive transformation, it also had the unintended effect of making his face look even more defined and angular, adding to the change in his overall appearance. During an interview with Men's Health, Ryan honestly opened up about the changes. He explained that the masseter muscles in his jaw, which control chewing, had grown a lot as a result of the facial therapy he had after his surgery. The masseters just grew, he said. They just got really, really big. For Ryan, the physical therapy didn't just fix his jawline, it gave him a much more muscular, square appearance. But the big question that fans couldn't stop asking was, did Ryan Gosling really just experience a freak accident that changed his jawline, or was there more going on here? Some fans couldn't shake the feeling that this transformation was too drastic to be just the result of an injury. And while Ryan himself has been open about the cause of the changes, others wondered if there might be more happening behind the scenes. Despite the noticeable change, Ryan Gosling has remained unfazed by the speculation. In interviews, he's made it clear that he doesn't care about the public's opinion of his appearance. Number 9. Justin Jedlicka, Human Ken Dolliffe. You think plastic surgery is just about making small tweaks to improve one's appearance? Then you've clearly never heard of Justin Jedlicka. Known as the Human Ken doll, Justin's extreme obsession with body modification has pushed the limits of what many consider normal in the world of cosmetic enhancement. Justin's journey began with a fascination for body modification that took on a life of its own. He didn't just want to look better. He wanted to transform himself into a completely different person. A person who, in his mind, would be the perfect example of beauty. Over the course of his career, Justin has spent over $1 million on more than 1,000 cosmetic procedures. From nose jobs to facelifts, cheek implants to jaw reductions. He's had it all and more. He's even gone as far as to get custom-made implants to improve his appearance, calling them artistic projects rather than vanity. Justin has become an icon in the world of extreme body modification, and his transformation is both fascinating and controversial. When he first became famous, he was praised as the man who took plastic surgery to new extremes. But what makes Justin's story even more interesting is that he doesn't see his surgeries as a pursuit of beauty. He sees them as a form of art. To him, plastic surgery is not just about improving looks. It's about sculpting himself into an idealized version of beauty, a canvas he constantly refines and shapes. One of the most shocking aspects of Justin's transformation is his approach to the procedures. He doesn't just go to any surgeon. He's carefully selected the best of the best, and some of the procedures he's had are so extreme that they leave even the most experienced surgeons confused. But Justin is unapologetic about his choices. He's openly admitted that he's not interested in looking normal. Instead, he wants to be the most presentable version of himself, a version that fits his own vision of perfection. In fact, Justin once shared that his obsession with body modification is a way for him to express his creativity. He has said, "I have a reputation of being one of the most extreme plastic surgery addicts in the world, and I love continuing to push the limits." For Justin, the desire for a new look isn't just about looks. It's a form of self-expression. But here's the big question. How far is too far? Justin's story is a shocking one. His transformation leaves us with an uncomfortable question. How much is too much when it comes to body modification? As we've seen with Justin Jedlicka, the quest for perfection through plastic surgery can take us to places we never imagined. From the small changes to the extreme ones, these celebrities have all gone on their own journeys to change their appearances, some to the point of being unrecognizable. Whether it's a desire to stay young, fix things they think are wrong, or push the limits of beauty, the pursuit of the perfect look is a powerful force in the world of fame. But one thing is clear, the road to perfection often comes with a cost. For some, it's a cost paid in health. For others, it's a cost paid in public perception, and for some, it's a price that can never be undone. So, what do you think? Do you believe these transformations were worth it? Or do you think these celebrities have gone too far? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more of these jaw-dropping celebrity stories.